I just saw a video of a, I forgot to clean the camera. I just saw a video of a lady, on YouTube Short. Sorry about that. She has one leg, but she's, like, really beautiful. And, like, I mean, I'm not saying she's anyone who has only one leg or no legs at all is not beautiful. I'm just saying she was dressed really beautifully with a it's like a bustier top and a beautiful skirt, and the color is really beautiful, and she's wearing this really beautiful shoe that's like looks like it's cork, and it's got like the wraparound tie on it. You know, so it's a really beautiful sandal, in other words, but like, people were saying in the comments, you know, all I see is strength and beauty and what confidence, what elegance, what grace. And like, I have both my legs and both my arms, and still, like, people don't know. They look at me, they have no idea. I don't look like what I've been through, even with my fucked up teeth, which, despite what anybody might think, it's a handicap in and of itself. It's really hard, really fucking hard to look people in the eye all the time and, you know, when I'm talking to them, and not feel, not lose my confidence or not lose my poise when they're looking at my teeth. And most people don't do that to me, but I know they think about it. I know they notice it. A lot of people don't notice it at all, which is interesting, I think. But and people also don't know, like, on the inside of me, what losing all my family did to me. Like, I was when I lost my mother, I thought I was gonna die. Like, I physically felt like I was gonna die. Like, I didn't think I was gonna survive it, even if I wanted to, and I didn't want to, is the truth. I was living up north, in Napomo, and that's where the house was stolen from me. It's fucking horrible people. They're horrible people. And I've done videos about that. It's just like in the history in my YouTube, whatever. But I I didn't think I was gonna survive it. Like, I felt like I was gonna die, and I've actually come very close to dying many times. So I know. I've never clinically died that I know of, but like, I won't get into it. Some by my own hand, and some, like, for the first year of my life, I fought for my life. I was born with, it was either viral or amoebic meningitis. I don't remember which, but I spent the first year of my life fighting. And I think it was amoebic because I caught it from water, and that's the kind, it's pretty rare, and you catch it from water, typically. Well, I got it. I spent the first year of my life in a fucking isolation bubble, trying to survive. I don't remember it, like, consciously, but of course, I do remember it, It's part of what makes me a fighter. I wouldn't give up. My mom said even then, like, I wouldn't give up. She told me some of the strangest stories about things I did when I was a baby. I don't remember it, like, but it's still me. That's still me today. It's so weird. I mean, like, that's a conscious me today. But my mom dying, I think I felt like I was living in that house, and that was long before Jerry had given it to me. Jerry Murphy had, told me he was going to give me the house and the property. And he, anyway, I found one of those painters, buckets in the garage, and I dragged it into the bathroom. Like, I couldn't do anything. And that's saying a lot for me, because no matter how down I've been, no matter how sick, no matter how broken hearted, no matter how anxious, depressed, fucking you name it, I've been through it all. And I mean that. I mean that. I've been to the darkest places human beings can go. I haven't been to war, like, you know, with the military. Been to war in it many other ways, but not, you know, not enlisted. And, sorry, there's somebody walking right past my car right now. Yeah, I know, right? And, I mean, I pissed, because I wasn't eating, so I just pissed in the bucket. For about 3 months that went on. I couldn't move. I had never been through that before in my life. My mom died, I think I was 40 at the time. And like I said, I've been through it like multiple times. And my whole life has been a fight. Like, I'm not even kidding. Sometimes I think about how I'm still here, and by the grace of God, I I did that for about 3 months, and then finally I was able to like start getting up again. And also the dog needed to be fed. That dog kept me alive because I had no other reason to get up. That dog kept me getting up because I wasn't even really smoking cigarettes, and that's, if I'm not smoking cigarettes, something's wrong. You know, that's been, you know, if I'm not smoking, I don't feel good. Stop, boo. She does not like those guys. So my mom was, you know, my mom and I did not get along towards the end of her life. The last 10 years of her life, we were not close, but we were like this the whole rest of the time. I mean, my mom and I were two peas in a pod. We were soulmates, no doubt. And then, you know, people kept dying in my life. You know, I lost 12 people in less than 6 years. And, you know, I was really okay until 2022. And first, my best friend, Margaret, who had shown me more love than pretty much any woman outside of my mother had ever shown me. Like, this woman just loved me like a sister. She was very much like my mother. Only like a big sister, you know, but like a better, you know, in ways better, a better mom than the mom I had. And the best friend I ever had. That's the truth. The best female friend I ever had. And she died. She died in mid-September. Her husband and her sister called me because they knew how much Margaret loved me. They knew she really loved me, and she made no equivocations about it. She loved me, and she always called me Rue, by my radio name. And she was the best. She was always interested in what art I was doing. She was always giving me compliments. I mean, and they were genuine compliments. And there's nothing like getting a genuine compliment from another woman that you admire, you know? She was a very powerful, very talented witch, and very powerful person spiritually, and just powerful in general. Very beautiful, beautiful woman. And I love her. I still love her. I always will. And her husband too. Great man. They were definitely two peas in a pod. They were together for 25 years. So a couple days before she died, they called me because she had cancer, and she was literally eaten alive by it. And her sister and her husband called me, and they said, you know, she hasn't spoken in a couple days. We're afraid it's towards the end, and we just want you to, you know, her to hear your voice. you guys to talk one last time, or, you know, so she can hear you. And I told her I love you, and she said, I mean, she didn't talk like that. She was really fucking, you know, she was on her way out. But she heard my voice. And then we had this stupid joke, because she was always in so much pain from the cancer, and they didn't always have money for pain pills and shit like that. So, and she didn't want to go to a hospital. They were living in a fucking trailer. She was dying, living in a trailer, living on the road. And her husband just, I mean, it was a sad situation, and it made me angry. And at the same time, I really couldn't do much about it except be there for her and him too. We were all three friends, and so they called me, and I told you about that. But we had this stupid joke. She was always in so much pain, so I would say, you know, she would say, my this hurts and my that hurts, and I'm just hurting, and I couldn't do anything, nothing. And there's almost nothing more awful than hearing someone that you really love be in pain, and there's nothing you can fucking do. You're not even next to them, so you can't even like rub their shoulders. You can't do anything. You can't comfort them in any way, play with their hair, fucking rub their back. You can't do anything. So I made up this stupid joke, and I said, well, your face makes my face hurt. And I told her that joke that day, and she laughed. And they said they hadn't heard her laugh in a long time. It had been because she was becoming incommunicative, and of course she couldn't hold the phone, let alone talk on it. So I didn't talk to her for probably like the last 30 days of her life. I didn't really get to talk to her. And but I was the last person on earth to make her laugh, and I'll tell you what, it was one of the greatest honors I ever held in my whole life. Like, I just get such a swell of love. To make somebody laugh before they die is like, and I know that maybe sounds kind of weird, but like, you know? Anyway, she died in mid-September of 2022, and then my great aunt, who had been battling liver cancer for many, many years, like over 10 years, and I was by her side through kidney stones, a lot of them. I was by her side for withdrawals. I was by her side for a lot of different fucking shit. And her friend took over, you know, when she died, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock when I said that. And her friend, fucking this bitch named Kathy something, I can't remember her last name, it's in my other phone, but this fucking bitch uninvited me from my own blood's memorial. I was like, the fuck? Anyway, I got her back. I told her that my great aunt buried gold under her trailer. And you have to understand the kind of person that my great aunt Shirley was. She would have done something like that. I hope they spent a shit ton of money looking for that gold. Greed can be used against you, dipshit. And then my youngest brother died. I was not prepared for this. And December 20th of 2022, I lost my mind for a while. I mean, I just fucking lost it. I just fucking lost it. I was so everything all at once, angry, enraged, fucking confused, all of it, all at once, that I lost it. I just checked out without checking out, you know, without unaliving myself. I remember I was making this gingerbread house. I had bought this gingerbread house at Trader Joe's, I think it was. And I had it on the counter, and I remember coming back to the house from somewhere, I don't remember where I was, and seeing and like going all out on this fucking gingerbread house. Like, I used some of my resin art. It was on my my old Instagram. Like, all my art was on my old Instagram, like some badass shit too, lots of it. And I wonder if that's still available somewhere. I should check. Anyhow, but I remember, like, because I couldn't do anything else, and I remember feeling so fucking, like, Helpless. Just helpless. It was like anybody who's ever paddled out into the ocean, you know, or swim out into the ocean, you know, it looks like it's kind of like gentle and calm. And then you know, the waves rise up and like a set of waves comes in, and then, you know, you like get through that set of waves, and then you know, you get pummeled by the last one, and then you come up for air and you just get smashed in the face fucking again. That's what that was like. Plus I had these motherfuckers, this home protection agency, which is, that's not who they were, total fucking criminals. And I mean, and the people who were interested in the property, the DeChance family, which it's not a coincidence that my ex told me that name. I never heard that name in my fucking life. The DeChance family of San Luis Obispo, California. I didn't even know that until I did a background check on myself, and it had my own address in there at 460 Cayce Yellow. So, and I found out. And the motherfucker, what's his name? Timothy J. Hutchinson and Alan Hootkin, his attorney, and the sheriff's, I mean, everybody. I had everybody crawling up my fucking ass, stalking me. I'm not kidding either. This wasn't like some spiritual shit. This was physical. It was happening. It was real. These people broke into the house. They rewired things. They fucking planted cameras. They fucked with my Bluetooth speakers. I mean, it was all intended to drive me crazy, to get me out of the property, to steal the property from me and Jerry, because I didn't even know Jerry had died. See, my sister told me. I didn't know until my brother died, because I went up there and apparently they had contacted my sister and were talking to her, because my sister's kind of an idiot that way. She don't think she's gullible, but like, since when do you talk to somebody else about somebody else's business, you know? But my sister's that kind of person, so they preyed on that weakness of hers, you know? Like, I don't even talk to my sister, but if someone came to me and said, oh, your sister, blah, 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 I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to talk to my sister about this. You know, my half-sister, but still, you know, come on. Or I'm just not going to fucking talk about it, period. It's not my fucking business. Don't talk to me about it. Call her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want the responsibility of fucking, you know, getting in somebody else's business. Anyhow, my sister doesn't think that way. And my ex called me. A bunch of people called me and let me know, found me online, let me know that these people had been talking to them. But I hadn't heard a fucking word about any of it. Nothing. Just all this weird stalking bullshit. I know that my old Facebook profile still has a video up on it of some of them on camera. Or at least some of the people they hired on camera. Because I Facebook lived it. Oh yeah. Like, I left evidence everywhere of everything, because I had nothing to hide. I didn't care. Like, for what? You know, people were fucking coming after me. So I had all that going on too. I mean, I had people breaking into my bank account. I mean, it was breaking into my Wi-Fi, hacking my fucking phones. And I know that sounds crazy, but like, it was crazy what they did. And, you know, people kept asking me, you know, why would anyone do this to you? And you know what I failed to see at the time? It wasn't about me. It never was. These people had done it to many other people. I know that much. And I know all about them. I can smell them a mile a fucking way. And they fucking continued with me, or tried to. But, like, I just don't give a fuck, is the thing. I just straight up don't fucking care. If you find, what, you gonna fucking see me picking my nose or taking a piss in the fucking bushes? Fuck you. Like, I don't do anything. And even if I did, it's none of your fucking business anyway. So, but these people were like, they were really disgusting, horrible, nasty, vile people. They did everything. I mean, they tried to kill me and my dog. Yeah, I know. Like, it's wild. It's a wild story. It's crazy, but it's all fucking true. Like, hashtag true story. True crime. I cannot make it up. Like, I cannot. I really cannot. The neighbors knew about it. I mean, there was only one fucking road in and one road out, and it was a very, it's a very dark, like, quiet neighborhood. You fucking see people and hear people from a mile away. But, like, you know, I was in my own fucking world of hell. grieving, so I wouldn't pay attention. These motherfuckers knew everything, and they took advantage of how much they knew, and they're disgusting, disgusting people. So I had all that going on, too. Plus, I had a shit fucking boyfriend. Ugh. Weak and just a mess. The things we do when we're unhealed, I mean, I take responsibility for my choices. Oof. But, like, you know, wow. He did me real dirty. Don't think I don't fucking know. I know way more than anybody ever wanted me to. That's interesting how that lit up like that just now. My cigarettes never do that. Never. They never do. I know way more than anybody ever wanted me to. And I'm so fucking highly favored and highly protected. You couldn't put a ding in my fucking car. I know one of you all fucking watches my social media too. I am so not scared of you. With my big old jack-o'-lantern fucking grin, I don't give a fuck. Not even a little bit. So anyway, I fucking faced down demons. I'm not even kidding either. Not even a little bit. When I was 6 years old was the first time I saw one physically manifested in front of me. So there ain't nothing you can fucking do to me. Besides, you've already cursed yourselves, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. Not that you give a fuck about them either. Sick fucks. Lord says, vengeance is mine. I'll let God deal with you. Anyhow, I warned you about that too. Anyhow, moving on through the story. So all this was going on, and I felt, I mean, I was the Walking Dead. I really didn't have anything left. I had lost everything, everybody. I had lost my house. I had been stolen from. I had been defamed horribly to my like the last family members I had alive. These fucking people and my dumbass family members believed it, you know, so it's like, whatever. If you're willing to believe shit like that, then you're not any family member of mine. So, excuse me. That's some spiritual belching for you. Oh, pardon me. I'm transmuting some negative energy. Pardon me. Wow. Yeah, these people sent everything and several kitchen sinks at me. Still standing, still strong as fuck. Like you cannot. And I know it just pisses them off to no end. Anyway, because they took it real personal. Because it took them 5 years to work on me. 5 years of military grade psyops being played on me. Everything from my finances to my interpersonal relationships, every fucking thing. Every fucking thing. They did it all. They did way too much. Talking about doing too much. Damn. All for a fucking house and a piece of property. Greed. Fucks people up. Kind of like the fucking bitch that stole from my great aunt. And her family. Me. Hello? You got several holes in your fucking head. So, still there? No, they left. So, I mean, this was all going on all at once. And I had no support. I mean, I'd lost my business. I lost my joy, which was my art. The only thing I had was my dog. And I had one ex that was kind of still willing to, like, talk to me. And, I mean, it wasn't even because anything bad happened between us. It was because of these fucking people talking behind my back. That's what it was. It had nothing to do with anything else. And I know it. Because I didn't do anything. They started treating me like... You see, I didn't understand. Jerry died in October of 2022. I didn't know this. I didn't find out that he had died until December of 2022 because my brother died. 24:44 on the clock when I said that. And I started talking to my sister because my sister and I weren't talking. Like, anyhow, you know, my fucking sister and I weren't talking. Like, anyway, I really cannot. You know, these people used all kinds of bullshit things against me that really didn't, nobody would have known if they hadn't been leaking my fucking recordings of me. And also, that it wasn't anybody's fucking business anyway. You know? Like, what the fuck? I mean, it wasn't anybody's business. If anybody wants to fucking hold my feet to the fire for some shitty fucking mistake, dumbass mistake I made, you know, because I couldn't fucking pay my bills, because I couldn't do this, because I was fucking strapped, you know? I was in a world of hurt, and nobody wanted to hear my side of it. So I did things to make my life easier, period. And if anybody wants to hold my feet to the fire about that, they can talk to God too, because I paid for all that shit and then some. Like, So, you know, I am not ashamed of a motherfucking thing. Nothing. Nothing at all. I've worked so hard, and I've earned every fucking thing that I have. Including my confidence, including my self-worth. So. And, all this was going on all at once. And and I'm homeless. And I still had people after me. Because they knew, these people knew, you know, the grief and everything else that, you know, was, that was going, it would have gone its normal course if I had been, you know, able to grieve properly. But I couldn't. So, it took me longer. And also what I had been through was just, it was crazy. Like, I had witchcraft all up and down fucking in my shit. I didn't really know it though. And I was, you know, when you tell people that, they think, oh, you're fucking crazy, or they think you're dramatic, or they think whatever the fuck they think. But every fucking thing, every symbol of every fucking thing that we use, all of our products, all of our fucking, I bought these, I know it's gonna sound funny, but like, I've been buying these wet wipes, because I like to wipe my ass with wet wipes, not toilet paper, and my face and my armpits, because I live in my car. You know, wet wipes are gold in the car. So I started buying these wet wipes at a 99-cent store that I found in Santa Barbara. And that was weird. That person was sitting in their car the whole fucking time. But so I was just buying them because I like them, because they're like thick and like they don't smell, you know, so it's like, I don't know, they work. It's nice. Like, I don't know. I don't like the ones with the paper, like the top that doesn't clip closed. They dry out faster. And, anyhow, so I'm buying these wet wipes for like, I don't know, a year and a half, I think. Something like that. And everything, I'm telling you, everything has a meaning, right? I didn't look at these for the longest time. Like, I looked at them all the time. Like, they were always kind of sitting in my front seat or somewhere close by, you know, because I need them. But, like, the fuck? My mom, I'll tell you after. So, these are called Bluna. And it says, it's a blue feather promise. It says, Bluna means blue bird's feather, which gives infinite dreams and hope to people. It contains the J-Wave's philosophy to develop the best products. Okay, but it's Bluna's a bluebird's feathers. My mom made friends with bluebirds. The last animal she was friends with, she showed me a video. She had a video of it. I have pictures of this fucking blue jay that she made friends with, and I'm buying bluebird fucking wet wipes. I didn't even know until maybe like 3 weeks ago. Yo. And, you know, I know that that's crazy. That sounds kind of weird. But, like, bluebird, there's a lot of different meanings for bluebird. In Chinese lore, bluebirds are supposed to be the bird of happiness. Like, if you see, and also there's a tale about bluebirds or blue jays, that if you see a blue jay on your birthday, that you be happy forever. Like, you'll have, you know, a lifetime of happiness. So there's like a lot of different meaning associated with bluebirds. And I just happened to buy bluebird fucking Bluna. I mean, I saw the name on the front all the time, but like Bluna, it didn't, you know, and the little chick, you know, on the fucking thing, you know, it's a little chick and an egg. But like, I never read the package until one time, it was like 3 weeks ago, I was in a bathroom, in a public restroom, taking a poop. So much fun. And, I'm reading the package. Like, because I just happened to look over and I was just looking at it. Like, I've seen it in the bathroom, you know, when I've been because I only get to use public restrooms, really. I've seen it so many times. Like, I've looked at that package so many times, and yet I completely overlooked this bluebird thing. I just didn't read it. But it was there the whole time. The whole time. And that's my mom. Like, I was just buying them because they, like, I like the package. You know, it doesn't have the, like, I have these. Oh, where are they? It doesn't have it has the package top that I like. It's like, it's not like this one, you know, like these that, like, you have to peel it. Because, I don't know, it just doesn't stay nice as long as it doesn't stay sealed. So I buy the one with the flip top. I had no idea. Like, and they were nice and thick, and, like, I like the texture of them, and, like, they don't smell, because I don't like smelly stuff. I mean, I do like smelly stuff, but not wet wipes. And, like, the whole fucking time, they're Bluebird fucking wet wipes. Like, what, though? Mom! My mom was like that. My mom and I were very close spiritually. We always were. Always. For better or for worse, we always were. And we are still. She's my mom. She was more than my mother. Anyhow, she was my best friend for many years. And I was hers. It wasn't, she used to tell me I was her favorite person. I didn't win any brownie points with my siblings because of my mom's favoritism. But, like, when you just, you know, you can't help it. It wasn't that I don't think my mother favored me as a daughter. It wasn't like that. It was like my mom just liked me as a person. She, you know, she would have hung out with me outside of being a family. You know what I mean? But anyway, my mother appreciated that I always accepted her as a person. I didn't try to make her be anyone. She wasn't. I didn't expect her to be anything that she wasn't. That was something that my mom never got from my sister, and it broke her heart. And I knew it, and that made me angry with my sister. Because my mom, you know, all she ever wanted was acceptance, you know, from her mother, from us. I mean, that's all my mom ever wanted. She worked her fucking ass off for us as a single parent for many years, trying to just be accepted. And, you know, for all my mom's faults and everything else, I accepted her. You know, it wasn't easy and everything else, but I did. And my sister didn't do that. And it broke my mom's heart. And it broke my brother's heart. My sister did the same thing to our youngest brother. He's dead too. You know, drank himself to death. She didn't help it. You know, she didn't help anything. Fucking, you know, I don't have any bones to pick with my sister. I've forgiven her. However, I will probably never talk to her again. Never speak to her again. You know, her children, maybe. I don't know. But, you know, if they ever, you know, decide to come looking for me. But, her, my sister knew better. She knew better than that. She was raised better than that, and I fucking know she was raised better than that, because I fucking helped raise her. Ungrateful little bitch. Sorry, but she's not my kid. You know? It's a different relationship entirely. And when you sacrifice your childhood for somebody, you know, you at least don't want them to go out and fucking embarrass the fuck out of the family. But she did. You know, not somebody I would be friends with outside of family. I love my sister. I never really liked her much, though. Anyhow. It's always been always been a terrible gossip. Always. Amongst other things. But anyway, moving on. And it's no judgment. I'm just saying. But I do love my sister. I love her. But, like, you know. And I've prayed for her many times. Anyhow. Through all this shit, and losing my fucking teeth, which, like, my teeth were never that great, but, like, really? Like, are you fucking serious? I cannot. I mean, really, though. Anyhow, and I know a lot of people's teeth are bad, and I know why now. I didn't know why at the time, you know, so I was just running to the dentist to get cavities filled and fucking have teeth pulled and shit, because that's all my, you know, all my dental insurance would pay for. So all I could get done to them was ripped out of my fucking head. Fuck, that was fucked. Anyway, a lot of pain, physical pain. And then, like, you know, also, like, the emotional and, like, you know, the emotional scars I wore from all these things. I was carrying all this around for a long time. And I genuinely didn't think I was going to survive it, really. I mean, I didn't think so. And if I did, I was like, man, I'm not sure I want to. But I did, and, you know, I've told this story before. I went up the mountain to heal my broken heart, and all I had was this car, my dog, God, and myself, and that was it. I didn't have any fucking money. I didn't have any food even, so I just fasted, which is like, I know a lot of people fast for, you know, fucking spiritual reasons, but try doing that shit when you have no fucking food, and no place to cook, and no fucking friends, and no family, no one to give a fuck if you're hungry, scared, cold, tired, fucking anything. They don't care. So, yeah, no, I don't have any family. But anyhow, not that's living. But when I saw that video of that woman with one leg, and that's just some of the shit I've been through. Just some of it. I know that sounds like a whole lot. That's a whole lot for anyone. And I'm only like maybe barely halfway through my life. Barely. You know what I mean? And it's not going to continue that way ever again. Oh, the law of cause and effect, aka karma, is a fucking bitch. So I don't have to be. Ouch. I've never been happier to be myself in my fucking life. And not those people that have done, so many people have done me so dirty. Most of the ones who did me the worst are dead. True story. So you can imagine how much mercy God is going to have with the rest. I mean, I really, I empathize with that shit. I do. But, I do not sympathize with it at all. But when I saw that video of that woman with one leg, gracefully holding her head up and just walking like she's got two legs. You know what I mean? It made me proud of myself, because that's me. Even when I was homeless and all this shit was going on, and I still managed to save a man's life up on the 154 highway. That was no small feat. He had a terrible head laceration. He lost a lot of blood. He bled all over me. And he lost a fucking leg in that car fire. Now, he pushed himself out of that car, out of that truck. He saved himself by pulling himself out of the truck because his shoes burnt off of his feet. I could see the bones in his toes. I had to put him out with a bottle of water. I could see the bones in his toes. And the look on his face of gratitude when I poured that bottle of water on him, I mean, I know you're not supposed to do that when somebody's got plastics and it can, you have to get skin grafts, but I mean, I was thinking, you know what, that's the last of his fucking worries right now. And nobody had a proper blanket to put over him and smother the flames, so I did what I could do, But he lost a leg that night. And the fire didn't kill him, but the shock of the freezing cold night and just the shock of being in a car fire like that was going to kill him. Shock will kill you faster than anything, really. And I kept him alive. I kept him with me. I kept him in this world. He wasn't supposed to survive that night, but I was there. And when angels get in the way, there's nothing stopping us. No legion from hell can stop us. So, besides, we got lots of friends too. We have legions of angels. The Elohim are powerful. Powerful creatures. Very powerful. Terrifying and beautiful. Exquisitely beautiful. But I showed up. And I kept him from dying. And I knew that night, because, you know, I've always been highly intuitive, that he was not meant to die. I knew that he couldn't die. I knew there was something important that man had to do. I didn't know what it was, but he had something to do. I just thought, that's somebody's dad, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's son. And I just hopped out of the car. I didn't really think about it. I just looked at Bella. She looked at me, and off I went. I said, I gotta go. And it saved that family. Later, I found out I went to the DMV to register this car. And I was trying to explain to the lady, you know, you just get some random number. Now serving, you know, B13 at window 11. Well, I walk up to this window and I'm trying to explain to this lady why I have 2 cars and blah, blah. And I'm way overcomplicating the situation. And so I finally just pull up the news article in the Santa Barbara Independent, you know, Rebecca Neal. Or it says homeless woman from Santa Barbara. And I think it says homeless woman from Santa Barbara saves man or something like that. And she looks at me and she says, that's you? And I'm like, I'm not following at all why she's looking at me like I fucking am an alien or something. And I say, yeah, that's me and my dog. And she says, that was my cousin. I was just like, no fucking way. Really? Like, and she said, thank you. And she told me some things that, you know, about him, and that it was, you know, what had happened to him. And it was so crazy. It was like, my whole life's been like that. Like, just one crazy thing after another. Like, what the fuck? I meet his cousin? What? And I mean, Santa Barbara's a pretty small place, but like, yo, for real, that's fucking wild, you know? Like, I didn't see that coming, not at all. And it was a beautiful thing. And she thanked me, and she told me, she pulled out a picture of this really good looking young man, really good looking, like, wow. And like, beautiful face, real beautiful man. And she showed me this, and it was a memorial plaque. And that young man had died about 3 weeks earlier. That's whose memorial they were at that night. He was driving home from that memorial. So they would have lost 2 family members. And it was right before Thanksgiving. It was November 17th. And I just had a feeling that this was just like, couldn't happen. This couldn't happen. It just couldn't happen. And so I did what I did, and I was homeless. I was wearing a pair of flip-flops, some shitty fucking khaki pants I had, and a little fucking shirt, a little t-shirt. I didn't have much on. I mean, it was cold that night. It was really cold. It had been raining. It was really cold. And, you know, I was real sick after that. I was really sick, and the hospital threw me away. I mean, they had me in the emergency room for about 12 hours. Of course, when I got rolled into the ER, every doctor and nurse that was available that could were standing on the wall, and they were staring at me like, wow. And the paramedics and the firemen and everybody that was on the scene was just like, and I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't put 2 and 2 together, but people were really amazed at what I did. Apparently, I was quite a force on the scene. I didn't think of it that way, but I was. I mean, I've never seen footage of it. If anybody had footage of it, I'd love to see it. I'm sure I was screaming the whole time. I mean, not just like screaming. I was screaming at people. We can't fucking let him die. Do something. And it was weird. It was like everybody was like zombified. No, nobody moved. Nobody did anything. People were filming it with their phones. I mean, I'd love to see footage of it. And I understand, you know, being in shock. I understand it 100%. I mean, I was in shock for, you know, after my youngest brother died. Whew. You know, that fucked me up. Because I raised him too, you know, with my mom and my sister. Oh my God. You know, and he was a cute little boy. He was such a good boy. And, anyhow, I understand being in shock. You know, I understand not being able to do something. There really wasn't much to do. You know, honestly, I was doing everything I could. And because we didn't have the right equipment, we couldn't really do much, you know. The fire took over the cab of that truck so fast. It was less than a minute, and the whole fucking cab, where he was engulfed in flames. And I don't mean like bonfire hot. I mean like incinerator hot. It was such a hot fire. I mean, I wasn't even, you know, I was maybe like 10 feet from the fire when he pushed himself out of the truck, and I ran up to get him, and I got burnt just from being that close to the fire for a very short time. So it was really hot. I had, stop, boo-boo. I had inhaled a bunch of smoke from and you know, like, I'm a smoker and all, but like, that kind of smoke with particles in it, like toxic particles, totally different fucking story. I was sicker than a dog the day at a chocolate bar for a long time. For about 3 weeks, I was horribly sick. My throat felt like I had swallowed glass, and I wasn't sick. It wasn't like sickness. So I couldn't do anything like echinacea. None of that was helping. And the hospital, they had me in and out in like less than 12 hours. I was gone. And I was sick, like really sick, really sick. I got my car back. My dog had shit in the back seat. You know, and I was glad, because I was glad somebody took my car. The Jackson family took my car, Liz and Randall Jackson, and I was very grateful for that, because if they hadn't, my car would have been impounded. I would have had to get it out. My dog would have been taken to the fucking shelter, so I was very glad. However, they didn't, anyway, my dog pooped in the car, and I got my car back the next day, and I was driving around for like the next week, like 5 to 7 days, and I was in a funk. Like, I felt worse than ever. I felt like the world really threw me away. Like, all this had happened. I had saved somebody's life, and I just get thrown away? Stop, boo-boo. Please stop. And I mean, I was so hurt. And I was so sick, you know, really sick. And I remember driving up to the mountain, kind of like where I am right now, and just thinking, like, what the fuck? You know, like, I don't expect to be rewarded, but don't just throw me away, you know? And I called Liz and Randall. They set up a GoFundMe for me, and I remember talking to them about it, and I was like, yeah, nobody's gonna do anything. And I remember I got a call from Randall, and he was starting to tell me how much money was in the account, and he also told me that Subaru wanted to give me a car, and I was like, what? You know? I mean, it was a beacon of light in my life that I had never seen before. I had never seen this before. I mean, it wasn't about getting rewarded. It wasn't about that. It wasn't about the recognition. It was about not being thrown away again. It was about one time in my life somebody saw me for what I really was. For all these people were actually recognizing me for the hero that I've always been. I've always been like that. I've always sacrificed myself for others. I've always given more than people have given me. I tried to. I've always done the best that I could, and it wasn't always good enough. That's the damn truth. But I tried. You know, I've never been a quitter. Even when I should have quit. The thing about me at that time was I Is that a launch? What the fuck is that? You hear that? Of course you do. Yeah, there's this very... Do you hear that? Shh. You hear the rumbling? Stop, Abu. Get back. Shh. You hear that rumbling? There's something weird going on in Santa Barbara. I'm not kidding either. Everybody hears that sound, but nobody knows what it is. Well, nobody knows for sure. I've heard a number of... And it's not a launch. There's not a rocket in the sky. That's not what it is. It's something they're doing in the city because it's much louder in the city. It's something they're testing, and I think it's underground. Because it's a kind of rumbling that just doesn't... It doesn't dissipate. It rumbles the ground. And it's not an earthquake. It's not any of that. So... but that being recognized for that was amazing. And it wasn't just the recognition. It wasn't about the money. It was, you know, the money was a way of showing recognition. And people have still donated to my GoFundMe, you know, here and there. And I'm so grateful for that. Like, it has made a huge difference in me and my dog's life. Massive. So grateful. And people have done favors, like getting me work on my car. And oh my God, like, that's gold, you know? I mean, just people have been really helpful. And I'm so grateful. It was the feeling of like, people actually cared about me. People loved me. People respected me. And they had never even met me. But they saw me for what I really am and who I really am that night. And I got recognized for it, and it was beautiful. It was such a good feeling. Like, I didn't quite know what to do with it all. You know, I was overwhelmed, but like, still it was the beginning of a very beautiful journey to a very healed and very confident and unshakable, unbreakable me. I mean, I've always been unbreakable, but I could definitely be shaken. Yeah, now it could be the end of the fucking world, and I'd be sitting here just like, meditating. Water can crash or it can flow. Be like water, my friends. I really admire Bruce Lee. So, you know, be unbreakable, you know, be the water. Water's powerful, very powerful. And when we know how to embody the elements, we become their unshakable nature. And it's a beautiful thing. So, you know, I went on a 30-day road trip. You know, I spent like nearly all the money. And we didn't stay in one hotel. I mean, my dog and I was hitting every 99-cent store. I was, you know, every time I was low on gas, I'd fill up the gas tank because that was one of my things. You know, my lack mentality was always like, oh, I don't have enough gas. Oh, excuse me. Well, I could fill up my gas tank as much as I wanted. So that's what I did. And we just drove all across 5 states, all up and down California. I mean, from the border in Oregon to the fucking border down in Mexico, I drove all over the place. Arizona, all over Arizona. Went to Sedona, went to Bernie Falls, went to Oregon, stayed in Sandy, Oregon, stayed in what's it called? Stayed in Arizona, stayed at the Grand Canyon. I'd never seen the Grand Canyon. Neither had Bella. So we went there. You couldn't see shit. I mean, it was all like, it was all clouds, you know, it was just clouds. I couldn't see shit. But it was great to be there, you know? On the 3rd day, it finally cleared up and you could see. But I was driving through blizzards the whole fucking time and I didn't even know. I was just like, just having a great time. Middle of winter, you know, fucking January. Just like, or December and January. And just freezing cold everywhere we went. Snowing everywhere we went. Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Don't ask me. I don't know what I was doing in Utah. Utah's a beautiful place, though. And I fucking... I mean, you know, it was the beginning of a beautiful... We stayed in Humboldt, California. Beautiful. And, you know, amongst the redwoods and a beautiful redwood forest. you know, I remember getting there and I'm like, look, Bella, you're home. It's Tatooine. Because she reminds me of an Ewok with her little ears, you know? And, it was just, it was, you know, it was the beginning of me healing, is what it was. And I think that, I mean, it would have happened anyway. I know that. I know it would have happened anyway, but it was meant to be. Like, it was meant to be. And people went out of their way to help me. Of course, you know, a lot of people didn't end up being so great, but they did that thing for me. And it was a big thing. And I'll always respect them and be grateful for that thing. Always. Always. Eternally grateful for that thing. More than anything, I'm grateful to those people. Subaru, and I've talked shit about them too on my YouTube channel. But like, all in all, more than anything, I'm grateful. More than anything, I'm grateful. And people are people, is what I can say. And, you know, I don't like the things people do. You know, I try to love them anyway. I do a pretty damn good job too. I love people. I just don't always like what they do. There's a big difference. You know, love the sinner, hate the sin kind of thing. Besides, it's not my job to judge anyone. Not even myself. So yeah, no, I just don't judge people. I just don't like some of the things. But, you know, that happens when people misunderstand you. Anyway. And I was misunderstood in that Subaru relationship quite a bit. So anyway, which is, you know, whatever. Neither here nor there. People misunderstand me all the fucking time. So, I mean, it's been a running theme in my life that will not continue either. But, it was a really good feeling. It was really uplifting, you know. And even if I hadn't been given the car and all that, you know, I still would have had the GoFundMe account. But it was truly amazing to see people come together like that for someone they didn't even know. I mean, it was like 30 grand. You know, I mean, it was more money than I had ever seen in my life, and up until that point. And it wasn't about the money, like I said. It really wasn't. It was really never about the money for me. It was really just about, you know what? You're not the piece of shit that people have always told you are, Rebecca. You're more powerful, you're more beautiful, more precious than you can understand. And that was the message I got from it. And that meant more to me than any money or any car or any fucking thing else. Because I hadn't gotten that in my life. You know, I hadn't given it to myself. I didn't know how. At that time, I didn't know how. And I hadn't gotten it from the people in my life that I needed. I got it from Margaret. And I got it from my great aunt. Those two people. And my brother, too. I know my brother did some fucked up things. But it was always because he was under the influence of other people. Always. My brother was not a bad person. He never was. When he died, it was like last of the Mohicans. I felt like I was the last one left. I am the last one left. And, my brother was strong in the Lord and the power of his might, too. And my brother would have understood exactly what's been going on with me. And yet, he's the one that died. Anyway, so, I mean, not that I don't want anyone to die. I just, you know, it was a bummer that he passed the way he did, you know. And, from lack of self-worth. That's what killed him. Nobody bothered to build him up. Nobody bothered to tell him that he was a good boy. Nobody bothered, and I wouldn't say nobody, but I did. I did my part. I kept him accountable, and I told him what a, you know, awesome dude he was. You know, my brother was such a cool person and a good man. He never really had even he was only 36 when he died. He was young. He always called me beautiful anytime he called me. So what's up, beautiful? And it always made me feel good. I loved him for that. And I never really had to tell him. I remember I did tell him, you know, I love it when you call me beautiful. I loved his face. He had the best face. He just had the most beautiful face. I'm seeing it right now. I loved that. I loved him. I loved that little boy so much. So when I lost him, it was very much like losing my own child and my younger brother. It was both. And he wasn't my kid, but like, you know, I felt that way about him. So that's why I lost my fucking shit over it. And everything else that was going on. Fuck. Most people who have been through what I've been through aren't alive to tell the tale. They're not even here. And if they are physically here, their minds are gone. And there wasn't any help for me, you understand? There wasn't any, like, therapist. There wasn't any fucking buddy who could relate to me at all. So, and I knew that. I knew how alone I was. So, when I got recognized, you know, for doing what I did, at first I denied it. You know, I was like, I'm no hero. But, like, that's not the truth. I am, and I always have been. I'm a fucking warrior. I've always been a warrior. Always. Always. I mean, full fucking on, you know, brave and, you know, proud, and not in a bad way, but proud, you know, strong, very resilient, hardworking, and yet soft, you know, and nurturing and caring at the same time. Because, and it's not an easy balance to keep, to be a healer and a killer. You know what I mean? So to speak. I mean, I'm not a killer, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, to be both, you know, vulnerable and invulnerable at the same time. It's a fine line to walk. And to walk consistently for your entire life. Yeah. And to get where I am now. And, you know, people could look at my life and be like, oh, that's no success. You know, you're still homeless and everything. Yeah, but I'm happier than you'd ever been. And I'm consistently happy. I'm not just happy, I'm joyful. And I help people all the time. You'd be surprised. I'm surprised a lot of the time. I've saved 2 other people's lives up here on this mountain. I know I have. I at least bought them more time. Gave them the grace that they needed to get through for however long. I don't know if they're both still alive, but, you know, but I did everything I could, and it got them at least through the next day. I know it did. So, you know, people look at my life and be like, oh, that's not a success. Oh, contraire, mon frère. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I am more joyful, more peaceful, more confident, unshakable, unbreakable, all of that, and yet I flow like water. And I mean, most of the people on the planet can't say that they've ever felt this way and been through where I've been. Still, fuck no. I mean, no, but I know people have been, and especially people who have been chosen, and also answered the call, been able to answer the call, been fit for duty. We've been through the fucking ringer multiple times. And but like there's a uniqueness to my story, to what I've been through in particular, and I know it. It's different. It's different. My whole story is different, and the way I view it, my perspective on it, and how, you know, highly intuitive and gifted of a person I am. And I made it through all of that, you know. And every day I wake up and I'm happy. Like, I'm happy that I woke up. I'm grateful for the dirt under my left pinky toenail. Like, I'm just happy. And it's not some kind of like, ooh, itchy nose. It's not some kind of like, oh, I'm just grateful. No, I'm grateful. And I worked for it. I earned it. I deserved it. I remember I had somebody tell me, we were talking about the accident, you know, and the fact that I was given a car and a GoFundMe account and everything. Oh. Excuse me. Oh. Pardon me. Pardon me. Excuse me. That was tea belches. But also some spiritual belch in there. I didn't fart. That was my stomach. But I remember I was standing in the kitchen with this person, and she says to me, I was saying, you know, I earned it and I deserve it. And she said, well, you deserve it, but you didn't earn it. And I said, I beg to differ with you. And I stood my ground on that. I didn't bend on that. Yeah, no. I earned it and I deserve it. Both. And, you know, it's not easy to stand up to people like that. Because by all intents and purposes, by all appearances, my life is not successful. You know, I don't have a lot of money. You know, I don't think I could put together a resume if I fucking tried. I mean, I could put the accident on there. I could be like, you know, I'm a really good, there's a lot of good things I'm really good at. I'm very, very talented, very highly gifted person. Like physical talents, like all kinds of things I can do. Very great dancer. Very talented artist. Great writer. I have a brilliant mind. I'm an exceptionally smart person. Intelligent person. Extremely capable. I mean, I come up here on the mountain. I stay up here for, you know, I have stayed up here for weeks at a time. You know, with very little. Very little. And yet still, like, it was snowing up here. And I'm fine. I'm not going anywhere. I'm good. It's like there's nobody else staying up here except in their luxury vans with their, you know, heaters and everything. I'm like, please, you know. That's why I have a hot dog. You know, like I'm very, and I'm tough. You know, I'm tougher than most men I ever met. It's the truth. I grew up around cowboys, so kind of hard to match that. You know, I'm very nurturing. I'm extremely caring and, you know, and funny. I'm funny. And I'm just fucking cool. You know, like, you know, I have a lot to offer, and it took me a while to see myself that way, though. You know, it took me a while to regain my self-confidence, to regain my self-worth and all that. And, like, because it was stolen from me at every turn. If it wasn't by witchcraft, it was by spell work. You know, somebody talking about me, putting their mouth on me, and not in any kind of respectful way. You know, so it was like I was robbed most of my fucking life. And if it wasn't, you know, Billy, Bob, Joe, and Sue, it was my fucking mom, sister, and fucking her best friend. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man, I couldn't win for losing. So, you know, don't ever underestimate the fucking underdog, though. I've been underestimated my entire fucking life. And I've always said it's better to be underestimated than overestimated. And I would still say that for the most part, that's true. People always underestimated me. Always. They always underestimated me. And, you know, it's a good feeling to be like, you know what? I wasn't even trying to show anybody. I wasn't even trying. I wasn't trying. You know, when I saw that DeChance, and I made that connection between, because my ex told me about that name. He told me about some guy, Sean DeChance, who he was friends with in high school or whatever the fuck. It was high school is what he told me. And he's got a twin brother, a fraternal twin brother. And he was telling me, you know, this like story about the three of them, whatever. And then later I do a background check on myself. And the only reason I did it was because I was doing genealogy at the church I was attending at the time. They do a lot of genealogy in the Mormon church. Not that I'm not Mormon, but like, you know, I was just there. And I don't know, I'm sure I was there for a good reason. I'll find out. Well, I already know, but like, you know, I'll find out for sure. But, you know, it was such a, for me, it was such a random way to find out. But that was when I made the connection between my ex and what happened in Napomo, because I had never heard that name in my life, DeChance. You know, I'd heard like bon chance, like good, you know, good luck from like French people, you know, but like I'd never heard the name DeChance from anyone. So when I saw it in my background check, I knew that he was connected. I knew it was. Oh, I know. Like I said, I know way more than people ever wanted me to. And, you know, like all of it, I mean, I solved my own fucking, I mean, you know, I've solved so many cases for myself, like things that I didn't know were going on, but I figured out were going on. And it made all the difference to me to know those things. It made a big difference. And, you know, this whole healing journey has been just beautiful and like exquisitely painful at the same time. And I'm gonna turn the camera on for some heat. And like operating in your life with no fear is one of the best gifts you could ever give yourself. Loving yourself, the way that I love myself now is, you know, and I don't mean in some kind of like self-absorbed way, although people can think that I'm that way sometimes. I think I'm conceited or something. I'm anything but. I just know my worth, and I know what I can do, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know that I'm great. I'm a great person. And I don't mean just like, oh, you're great. I mean great, as in like Alexander the Great. When I was a kid, I always said the royal we. I always did that. I always said we. And I didn't understand why for the longest time. And I was like, oh, it's because I work with angels. I work with archangels, literally. I cannot. Like, this to me has all been like revelatory for the last like year. I've spent basically doubting it in one way or another. But like, I channel angels all the time. And I just never saw it that way. You know, I never loved myself enough to know to know what I was, who I was, and more importantly, what I was. And first and foremost, I'm God's daughter. First and foremost, that's my title. I'm God's daughter. Period. And, you know, I question that about myself, and I let other people question it in me for far too long. Far too long. And, I've changed the world, the whole fucking world, because I changed myself first. Be the change, be the change. Well, I'm the fucking change right here, sitting in my Subaru, front seat, fucking about ready to sleep. You know, it's 46 degrees outside, you know, which breaks down to a 1. About to sleep in my front seat again with my dog, and like, nobody can knock that. Like, they can talk all they want about it, but like, I still go to bed. I go to sleep every night and go to bed. I go to sleep every night, and I am just happier than a pig in shit. I just am. And just like, I just am. And it's not just happy, it's joyful, truly fulfilled person, a whole person. And nobody can take that from you. That's something that nobody can take from you. And I've always sought out the things in my life that nobody could take from me. You know, money can be taken, cars, they can be taken, you know, all kinds of shit can be taken. But the way you feel about yourself, nobody can really take that from you. They could try, and now I've had the best of them try. The best try. And yet still here I am. So, what does that say? You know what I mean? It really can't be taken. I mean, my story is a story like Shawshank motherfucking Redemption. I'm not even kidding. I've been falsely accused so many fucking times. I'd be hard pressed to count them all. But if you made it to the end of this message, just know that you also are more precious, more powerful, and more loved than you can possibly imagine. And if you're at the bottom, all there is up. Because I've been at the bottom many times. And I mean the bottom of the motherfucking bottom. There's only up. And there's always hope when you don't give up on yourself. And you carry yourself like that woman with one leg. You carry yourself like I carry myself, with grace. And I don't mean like, stop, Elle. I don't mean with physical grace. I mean with grace. Like the grace that God gave us. The grace that is ethereal. The grace that is evident even when you're hobbling along, you know, without any arms or any fucking legs, you know? It's just the truth. Nobody can take that from you. Keep going. Never give up. Never give in. Don't listen to the haters. They're really just lubbers, and they're in denial. It's not just a river in Egypt. And keep your sense of humor. Laugh, especially when it's hard. And cry when you need to too. Cry. That's okay. Cry. And it's okay to be angry too. Cry. Rage. Yell. Do what you need to do. But get through it. Don't just go through things. Grow through them. Say your prayers. Meditate like your life depends on it, because it does. Don't let anybody tell you shit is evil or demonic or crazy or whatever the fuck. If it feels right to you, and you know what feels right to you in your heart, you know, people know what's right. People know. I mean, unless you're a psychopath or a sociopath, you know what's right in your heart. You know. And your heart won't lead you wrong. It just won't. It just doesn't work that way. You know, make sure that you marry the two hemispheres of your brain. Go within so you never have to go without. Because this outside world, excuse me, will disappoint you. The people outside of you will disappoint you every fucking time. Even the people that love you, that really love you, they won't hurt you, because love doesn't hurt. That's not how it works. But like, you know, as much as people, I mean, as much as like I love Margaret, she died, and I felt abandoned. I genuinely did. But she fucking died. It's not like she wanted to, but I felt abandoned by her because she died. And in that way I was disappointed, and it was like, you know what I mean? Like, of course I wasn't blaming her for dying, but like, you still feel that abandonment. It's hard. It's harsh too. It's really harsh. And you feel guilty for feeling that way because they're the one that died. You know what I mean? Like, it's all fucked up. But I understand it, like, intimately. Integrate your shadow and your light. It's essential. You must do it. Make friends with your shadows. And I don't mean like, hey, what's up, fucking, you know, horrible, you know, selfish self, you know, like, let's be friends and let's be selfish together. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. I don't know about you, but some of the hardest forgiveness I've ever gone through in my life is forgiving myself for things. Forgiving other people, much easier. Forgiving myself, yeah, no. It wasn't always the easiest thing for me. Like, give yourself the grace. You know, maybe you didn't do so good today. You'll do better tomorrow. You know, when you want to feel better, do better. You know, even if it's just incremental, even if it's just, you know, I worked out for five minutes today, or, you know, and tomorrow I'll work out for 7 minutes. Whatever it is, you know, I'm not going to cuss today, or I'm not going to gossip today, or I'm not going to, you know, bully that person today, or I'm not going to yell today. Whatever it is that is like the bane of your existence, stop doing it. If it's addiction, stop. Just fucking stop. Like, your life depends on it. Your life is precious. Everybody's is. We need everybody, even the shitty people. I'm sorry to say sometimes, but we need them. And a lot of those people, they're acting so shitty because they're so scared. They're so scared and they're so angry. I know how that feels. I know when you just want to rage at everything because you're so hurt. You know, I don't even get hurt, really. I do now, but like, my knee-jerk reaction to every fucking thing that hurt me in my whole life was anger. I wouldn't even get hurt or scared. I'd get angry. I didn't go through the like hurt and fear. You know, my PTSD was not fight or flight. It was only fight. I mean, really though, I didn't have any in between. And you know, hurt and fear to me was instant anger, because anger, at least, you know, and it makes sense to me now, because, you know, anger, guilt, shame, blame, resentment, bitterness, fear, all those things they're so low vibrational. They're so low vibrational that if you can elevate those feelings to anger, you're higher up on the frequency scale than you would be if you stay at the guilt, shame, blame, resentment, bitterness, you know, level. So and anger is useful. You can use anger. When I was driving up the mountain that night, and I saved that man's life, I was angry. I was angry at the whole world. And still, I was able to channel that anger into usefulness, because you can channel anger. You can use it and use it for energy, you know, anger, and it's useful in that sense. That was weird. It's like this line of light across my face. Oops, sorry. So, you know, in that way, anger is a lot more useful than the you know, the emotions lower than that. And if in that way you can use it. But like, until you know how to channel, you're kind of fucking stuck with your anger. And your anger is like poison. Bitterness and resentment is like, hanging on to bitterness and resentment is like drinking poison and hoping that the other person dies. You want to hear that one again? Hanging on to bitterness and resentment is like drinking poison and hoping that the other person dies. That's what anger and resentment and bitterness, holding on to it, really is. It poisons you. It's poison. And I always knew that, you know, but like it was really hard to chant. Like being angry at myself and forgiving myself for being angry at myself was like one of the biggest fucking milestones to get over in my, you know, to get past that I had ever gotten past. And you can do it too. I don't care how down low you think you are, you can do it too. Even to the people who fucked me up in Napomo and stole all the shit from me, I would still encourage them to stop being the complete pieces of shit that they've been. Cause like, it's not worth it. It's just not. The amount of suffering that you have to go through, and it's not even like, you know, wow, that's heavy. Whoa, that's heavy. Wow, that's some heavy energy. The amount of shit you have to go through. And it's shit, you know, you think like, oh, what's worth it? You know what? That's a fucked up thing about God. God will fuck you up in ways that you never even imagined being fucked up. Like, I cannot. I mean, I'm telling you what. Like, it's shit you cannot even imagine. And watching the people that you care about suffer too. Oof. And knowing that you're the cause of it. Oof. So, you know, it's worth it to stop, you know, whatever it is that you're doing that's fucking you up, that's keeping you from your Christ consciousness, that's keeping you from your Christos, that's keeping you from God, that's keeping you from Christ, whatever you want to call that. It's, you know, it's attainable for all of us if you just fucking want it. And I mean want it with a pure heart and a pure mind. So, you know, I mean, I've had terrible enemies in my life, and it wasn't because I ever thought of them as enemies. It was because they made me their enemies. I wasn't going around, oh, that's my enemy. I never did that. Never. I still don't do that. But like, people have done that to me my whole life. And people have been terrible enemies to me. Terrible, terrible, terrible enemies to me. And, you know, even those people, they're redeemable in somewhere for, I mean, I would hope so. But like, you know, there's always a reason to be better. So be better. You know, do better than you did yesterday, because the only person to really compete with ever in your whole life is you. To compete with your past. Be a better person than you were the day before. And that's really the only competition that there is in this life. So, you know, anyhow, yeah. If you made it this far in the video, click the like button. Consider subscribing. Because, like, I got a lot to say. And I've been through a lot of shit. I understand people very well. Anyhow, love, blessings, compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another.